Tell you what, I think things change because of injuries, and this division has changed. Matt Ryan, whom you just talked about correctly, goes from Atlanta to Indianapolis in a significant trade, and he's got 2 years left on his contract. He did great things with the Atlanta Falcons, including dragging them to a Super Bowl a group of years ago. But he's going to Indianapolis, and he's going to be surrounded by a really good offensive line. And he's got 2 really good running backs, led by the young guy, Jonathan Taylor from the University of Wisconsin. Got a bunch of wide receivers, and they are loaded on defense. Household names, high draft picks, street free agents that have all kind of come together. Matt Ryan's going to experience, I think, a really good season. In fact, I think he's going to go through what the ex-Charger star Phillip Rivers went through when Rivers left San Diego and left LA and wound up going to Indianapolis for that 1 year. And Phillip had a really great statistical season because he was surrounded by good people. Matt Ryan's going to be surrounded by the same thing. So I got Indianapolis to win because I think they got every component that Matt Ryan needs. He's got a really good offensive line led by Quentin Nelson. He's got heavy-duty running backs. He's got wide receivers who can catch the ball, make plays. He's got tight ends too. So I got Indianapolis to win in the AFC South. The strange team to me is Tennessee. I just don't know what to make of the Titans right now. Last year, they gave ground. Last year, Derrick Henry got hurt, coming off of a foot injury. Just wasn't the same player when he came back. Now, maybe an offseason of rehab will help him. Ryan Tannehill regressed. I was really disappointed in Ryan Tannehill. I didn't think that he had anywhere near the kind of statistical season he needed to have, and surely not comparable to what he had the year before when suddenly he just arrived as an established guy. But established guy maybe because he had the great running back Derrick Henry. So at this point, I think there really are question marks about Tannehill. And, they did draft Malik Henry out of Liberty University, starting quarterback there. Now, he's a small college kid trying to play in the NFL. I should say Malik Willis. Willis might be the heir apparent to Tannehill. If Tannehill gets hurt, Willis probably winds up playing this season. I'm not sure he's really ready. But so I don't know if Tennessee's in a little bit of transition. They had a lot of injuries in their offensive line. You got a lot of mileage on all those guys in the offensive line too. And John, as you know, you wake up one morning and you're an old man, or you wake up one morning and all these guys have injuries.
Yeah.
So Tennessee got a taste of that last season, kind of fell off the pace. In Jacksonville, they got the Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. They got Doug Peterson, who's a real bright light as a head coach. Just don't think they have enough players. And Lawrence can't do it by himself, and he's going to have to do it by himself again because they had not survived the mess a year ago this time with Urban Meyer. And now you got Peterson, who I think is a really intelligent offensive X's and O's guy. And I think in the big picture of things, he'll do a pretty good job with Trevor Lawrence, but they just don't have enough players on that roster in Jacksonville. And picking up the rear in Houston, what's bad about Houston? Summer weather, heat and humidity. What's bad about Houston? Texans football.
Right.
Franchise a disaster. They've got the young Stanford quarterback Davis Mills that they kind of threw on the field last year, and he competed. I think he threw 13 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions, had a high percentage completion rate, but not a lot of talent on that roster. So that's a big issue there. And I just think the rebuild, and I got Lovie Smith as head coach, the rebuild is just going to take forever, I think, in Houston. So I got the Colts running away in the South, Tennessee somewhere in that mix for second place, and then Jacksonville and Houston fighting to see who's going to have the higher draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, I really am struggling to figure out what to make of this division. I mean, like you said, Matt Ryan is kind of slotting into what Phillip Rivers had a few years ago. And yeah, maybe he's got the talent. Maybe that can work. I just think a little bit about, it was about 3 years or so ago, we were in Nashville. Downtown Nashville. You've been there before,
Yes.
Lee? And it's just a great place. And the stadium is right there across the river. I mean, if the Tennessee Titans could have an electric season, I mean, that whole place is going to be a big party.
Well, they love football in the volunteer state. You're
Yeah.
correct. A couple of years ago when they were kind of the upper echelon in the AFC, when Tannehill finally arrived,
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee was a tough place to play in. But I don't know if they have enough players.